The Travel Host magazine, I thought I was through with it, and the guy who had it wasn't able to do it, and they called me and said, "Can you distribute it?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "I am in the middle of a campaign." It's what it won't take but 2 days. But anyway, there we go.
Okay, this is the Dream Board, our Dream Board.
Okay.
And we're going to go around and introduce ourselves just in case there's somebody here you don't know.
All right.
Okay, I think you know me. I'm your neighbor,
Susan,
Susan
good.
Morris.
I'll be new to you. I'm Judy Watts.
Well, it's nice to meet
I'm
you.
Alex Cassidy.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm Frankenberger.
Diane, how are you?
Jan Hersey.
Jan. Chris.
And I'm Becky LeGrand. I'm actually not on the board, but I'm with Main Street, South Carolina, which this organization is a member of, and we're part of the Municipal Association.
Okay.
Howard Bridgman.
Hello, Howard.
Martin Adams.
Elise Richardson.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
And Cindy Ashley.
Cindy Ashley. Okay.
And we have a couple of members that aren't here tonight, Brian Mitchum and Tim
Laura.
Hamilton and
Laura Lighty.
Laura
Laura
Lighty.
Lighting. Okay.
Okay, well, we have a few questions for you.
Okay. I hope I have some answers.
The DREAM motto is preserving the past, promoting the present, and protecting the future of historic downtown Summerville. How would you assist DREAM in this three-point mission?
Well, I do think that the town, DREAM, and the chamber all need to work together. I think that this central business district, what I call the CBD, the downtown part, is sort of the heart and soul of Summerville. And I think it needs to be nourished and protected as it has been, but I think it also needs to have some growth. I'd like to see some more shops coming downtown. I mentioned to a couple of friends of mine that I wouldn't mind seeing some of the lawyers move upstairs so we could put shops downstairs, that kind of thing. I do think that the more, the greater the variety of shopping downtown, boutiques, specialty shops, the more the shopping experience is enhanced for people. So I'd like to see that happen. The funding for DREAM, I've never really quite known exactly how that works. I think, does the town contribute a part of the funding?
We get money mostly from A-tax and H-tax.
Accommodation tax, and yeah. And so the town, whatever the town gives, though, comes out of the accommodations tax funds. Okay, because when they get ready to disperse those, they're looking at a number of organizations that apply. So DREAM is just one of those, or do you have an agreement with them ongoing for anything?
No.
You reapply every year just to see what you get? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think I would be a reasonable ear and a favorable ear, because I do believe in the mission. I think y'all have been at it now since the early 90s, and I've been here long enough to know what the downtown was like when there were about half the stores were vacant. So I think what has happened with DREAM is good. If anything, though, I'd like to see us kind of get even more creative, think more out of the box a little bit. I'd like to see Summerville develop as a specific site for maybe an artist colony or some other venue that we could say to people who come into the Tri-County area, and that's about 6 to 7 million people a year. Here's a reason to go to Summerville for a day trip. And I have been saying to other people, one of the things I would propose we do is, since we have a cruise ship coming to Charleston every week now, I'd like to see us find a way to take a couple of buses downtown, work with the cruise ships and the cruise directors, and see if we couldn't bring those buses downtown, put those people off the cruise ships on the buses, bring them up Garden Road. Maybe they could stop at Middleton or Drayton or Magnolia, bring them into Summerville, let them shop and eat downtown, then take them back in the afternoon, put them back on the ship, and we'd keep their money, and we wouldn't have any crowding for our schools, and we wouldn't have any real congestion for our, so it's just another way of looking at revenue, I think. But I don't know if I answered your question. I get started, I don't know when to stop.
Well, that's all right, that's all right. In fact, you probably touched on some of the things we were going to ask you.
Oh, okay.
Are you presently a member of DREAM, and if not, why not?
I am presently a member of DREAM.
Travel host, definitely.
Travel host is, right.
Okay, good. Are you coming to our...
And I was a member of DREAM when I published the newspaper. I've been, I think, a member of Dream all along.
Okay. Let's see. What, as mayor, would you do to support the existing businesses and to encourage new businesses into the downtown?
Well, I've heard some horror stories from businesses, and so I would try to be an attentive ear. I don't think this town is nearly as business-friendly as it could or should be, I think. You got to realize that business, small business particularly, small business, generates about 75% of the job opportunities. Yet you see the state, all the states go out and spend big bucks to bring in new industries and large businesses. And the reason they do that is because they employ larger numbers, and so they give them tax incentives. And if they create a job, they give them $2,500 for every job they create. I'd like for us to consider the possibility if our businesses grow and we want them to grow and flourish, we do the same thing for small business. Might not be able to give them $2,500, might give them a $500 tax credit. Might give them something, show them that they're appreciated and we want them to grow and flourish, and we want to nourish that relationship. So I'd work on that. I would actively recruit businesses to the town. I'd be willing to work with groups, Dream, Chamber, whomever, to try to bring business into town. You know, we spend a lot of money, or a lot of money was spent on a marketing survey, and to my knowledge it's collecting dust, and that's not a very good thing. So I think that needs to be taken off the shelf and examined and see what in there works, and what we think works we need to proceed.
Okay. How would you propose to increase the revenue for the town of Summerville? I know you've touched on that a little bit,
by bringing new business and bringing tourists to town. I also would like to see if we couldn't attract some industry to town. I think we need a very focused and determined economic director for the town of Summerville. I have a friend of mine who's been a friend of mine for 35 years through the newspaper business, who is now the Secretary of Commerce. His name is Bobby Hitt. And I'd like very much to call on Mr. Hitt and say we need some help in Summerville. And I think he would listen, because we've had an ongoing relationship for a long time, and his job is to do just that, to help the cities and counties in South Carolina. And I think if you don't ask, you don't get. And so I learned something for a career in journalism. I can ask a lot.
Okay. What do you see are the things that could be done to promote and improve the quality of life in Summerville?
I think what Dream has done with the red, white, and blue on the square is good. I think the holidays is a good thing. I think, though, I'd like to see us get the Summerville Community Orchestra involved more, the Flowertown Players involved more. On one of our trips many years ago, Mark and I stayed out on Cape Cod in the little town of Chatham, and every Friday evening they had a concert in the park, very much like Azalea Park. Now, I don't know, that takes a lot of effort to do that, so somebody's got to coordinate it. You got to find the musicians, but it doesn't always have to be the community orchestra. I mean, they could take, if you laid out a period of 6 weeks or 8 weeks, you're going to have summer concerts. They could take 3 or 4 of them. You might get the Summerville Singers to come down and do something. You might get a brass quintet from one of the high schools. Any kind of music, I think, would be good. And what I think that does is it not only provides entertainment, I think it gives people an opportunity to say, look what my town's doing. Look, this town actually has some stuff happening. And I think it is absolutely vital and critical that we do that if we want to keep young people living here. Young people, I hear frequently, there's not anything much to do in Summerville. So one of the things I want to do if I'm mayor is bring them into the mayor's office and say, okay, you say there's nothing to do here, tell me what you want to do. And come up with some plans, and we'll work on them together. But we have the Flowertown Players, and they do their productions, and they're great. If we bring the tourists from the cruise ships in here, I could see the Flowertown Players producing a little 15-minute skit, and every time we bring a busload of them,